And now we're shifting focus to the ongoing war between Israel and Hamas. All eyes are now set on the 4-day truce between the two and the subsequent hostage release that is expected to take place today. Now remember, Israel and Hamas had agreed on Wednesday to a ceasefire in Gaza for at least 4 days and exchange of 50 hostages which are held by Hamas and 150 Palestinians held by Israel. The ceasefire and prisoner exchange was expected to take place yesterday but was later delayed till today. An Israeli official familiar with the matter had downplayed the seriousness of the delay and he put down to fairly minor implementation details. And Israel's security agency Mossad has received the list of the names of hostages who are expected to be released by Hamas today. Now remember, officials from Qatar had mediated the deal between Israel and Hamas. And CNN News 18's managing editor Zaka Jacob spoke with Israeli government spokesperson Eylon Levy about the hostage exchange and the 4-day truce. Listen in.
This ceasefire deal for 4 days in exchange for 50 Israeli hostages, many of them women and children, to be released, it was supposed to have come into effect starting today, Thursday morning, but it's been delayed by a day. It's been delayed, pushed back by another 24 hours. Do you know what is the exact reason and what is causing this delay?
It's been nearly 50 days now that Hamas has been holding 240 innocent people hostage. Hamas can release them any moment it wants. It could have released them yesterday, the day before. It could have released them on October 7th or never taken them hostage. And every additional moment, every additional minute that Hamas doesn't let those poor, vulnerable children go is another moment that it continues to psychologically terrorize those children's families who know nothing about the condition of the hostages. They don't know what physical condition they're in. They don't know about their emotional or psychological condition. And it's another moment they terrorize the people they are holding hostage. They don't know what has happened to their families, the families who were massacred on October 7th. And we're going to continue putting military pressure on Hamas to release all of our hostages, because that is the only thing that the evil terrorists who perpetrated the October 7th massacre will respond to.
Mr. Levy, how worried are you that this period of 4 days, this pause of 4 days, could be potentially used by Hamas to try and extract more, whether it is from Israel or the team of negotiators that it is dealing with, that it's negotiating with, that they're going to use this as some kind of a bargaining chip to extract more, possibly even position themselves in a better position than they have been in these last close to 50 days. How worried are you about that?
We would prefer to continue putting unrelenting military pressure on Hamas to destroy that terror organization. But we have two goals in this war: to destroy Hamas so it can never do another October 7th massacre, and to bring back our hostages. And our assessment is that a very brief pause in order to get as many hostages out as possible is a price that we are willing to pay. And I'll add, a brief pause will also allow the IDF to prepare for the days ahead. They've been involved in some intense fighting, and if Hamas respects that brief pause, our troops will also be in a better position to continue the fight against Hamas and to continue the fight against the terror group that perpetrated that inhumane massacre on October 7th.
Now, over the last couple of weeks or so, much of the focus of this war, both on the battleground and, of course, on the airwaves, has been on the Al-Shifa hospital. Hamas claims it's the biggest hospital in Gaza. Israel claims that underneath the hospital is the headquarters of Hamas. There is at least that's the allegation from Israel, a wide tunnel network, arms and weaponry that's been stored there. And now the IDF has put out a video after they managed to capture the Al-Shifa, which shows the tunnel. But there are people who are still saying that what Israel was accusing Hamas of doing under the premises, under the compound of Al-Shifa, has still not added up. What would you like to say to those people?
We think that the UN agencies that have not condemned Hamas's atrocities on October 7th, that have not demanded a return of the hostages, that have said nothing about the Israeli women and girls who were raped on October 7th, they should all be ashamed. We think that the UN agencies in the Gaza Strip that knew that Hamas was using the Shifa hospital as a terror headquarters, that knew that it had tunnels under the hospital and said nothing, should be ashamed. We're demanding global accountability from these institutions. We think they look very silly now. We're asking, what did you know? Why did you not say anything? And now that the evidence is out in the air of how you were complicit with Hamas's illegal abuse of hospitals as human shields, what do you plan to do to make sure that a Hamas's abuse of humanitarian law never happen again?